On today's episode, we dive into the Cubs taking 2 out of 3 from the Reds, go over the latest news and notes regarding the Northsiders, and then get into some fan feedback on a Monday episode right now.
You are Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into Locked On Cubs alongside Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. Pleased to be with you for a Monday show.
That's how I was dancing last night. I was dancing. I was at a bar dancing like this.
Really?
Yeah, it's horrible. Go ahead.
Yeah, you might need to work on some of those moves, bro.
Yeah, no, I feel like very stiff.
Yeah. Well, listen, maybe some yoga's in your future. Anyways, the Cubs win the series, Sam, at the Great American Small Park in Cincinnati. I learned that one over the weekend. Didn't actually know about that one. For whatever reason, MLB gave the Cubs and Reds that day off on Friday. So after the Field of Dreams victory for the Cubs, they won decisively Saturday, lost close on Sunday, and a lot of things to zoom in on from the weekend.
Mantle, Mays, Musial, Bonds, Ian Happ at the Great American Ballpark.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, man, is he hit the ball well there. I just want to say real quick, Matt, that every Monday morning I go for a light jog outside, and I like to start off.
Is that your only exercise of the week?
No, but I jog 3-4 times a week, but I like to start my week off with one, and sometimes I just play a cold opens from our show to get me fired up, and most of the time you're doing them.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I don't really have much to take away from this weekend. I thought overall it was a positive weekend. I mean, the only real negative you take away is Keegan Thompson today. It just seems like he's very prone to those blow-up starts when he does. I didn't think he threw the ball well against the Nationals, and he just had good results. I think I even said that on the show, and it carried over to today. Tons of foul balls, couldn't put guys away, short outing. But, I mean, really nice a weekend for Hoerner, Franmil Reyes with a home run. Madrigal has just been exactly the guy we thought we were getting since he's been back from his injury. I think Ross has actually done a nice job here outside of hitting Ortega leadoff today and pinch hitting after one at bat.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the point of that? Like, why would you just put him down in the order? It's so senseless. But otherwise, I think he's just like, have you ever heard of a leadoff hitter getting pinch hit in the fourth inning?
No, I don't get the what a plate appearance and you're gone.
It might have been an 0 for 1 though. I think it was over. I
know it's a long. Today was a really long game.
I think it was 2 play. They pinch hit for him after 2, but it's just crazy. Anyway, but he's doing a good job getting everybody ABs. I think I'm okay with Morel having less ABs because he's just played a lot of baseball that probably was more than he expected. So you don't want to see him go into the tank. He had a nice home run today and drew a walk. I think good things, Matt. We'll talk about Davis a little bit later. But overall, I mean, it's just the classic thing we've been wrestling with on this show that we talk about almost every show. It's been a disappointing season in the micro context, but in the macro context, there's a lot of good things happening with this team. The Ricketts stuff we talked about last episode was really telling. I'm concerned Suzuki had another rough weekend, but I mean, Hoerner, I'm just really excited about. Steele. I'm probably irrationally excited about Franmil Reyes because it's I don't have anything else to be excited about, but that was still fun. Happy that Ian Happ got in the double digits with a homer. It was a really weird homer. I would say this stretch they've won 6 out of 9, right? 2 out of 3 Marlins, 2 out of 3 Nats, 2 out of 3 Reds, and they should take 2 out of 3 against the Nats this week. The greedy side of you says you probably should have swept at least one of those series, but they're taking care of teams that they're better than. It's obvious off the eye test that they're better than these teams. And one thing we didn't mention in our best and worst of the week, and he didn't pitch in Cincinnati, but he threw the Field of Dreams games. I mean, Rowan Wick's a really positive development. I think with the current club, there's more positive than negative right now. So that's my happy. I had a good weekend. Maybe that's why I'm being optimistic.
Good. One quick note a media note, Sam. It was Pat Hughes and Rick Sutcliffe these 2 days,
Yeah.
which was a really enjoyable combination.
Yeah.
And Sutcliffe is just nonstop,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
nonstop, but when he gives analysis, it's high level. It's very enjoyable. I really get attracted
Yeah.
to what I'm hearing.
So I actually had somebody that I respect tell me they didn't like Sutcliffe today and said it was just, too much. And it's like, I'd rather have too much than too little. Give me somebody that
It's a
cares.
lot of baseball talk
Yeah, give me
for
somebody
a
that
baseball
cares.
game.
Give me somebody that cares too much about the team rather than when Boog and JD do the game and through the second inning, I feel like I'm watching a national broadcast between the Mariners and Royals.
Well, and my segue was going to be Sut was talking about Keegan Thompson. And as Thompson was leaving the field today, Sutcliffe was making the point, he's just got to throw more strikes next time. And actually, he threw 61% strikes. You want your pitchers to be at about 65 or above. So he wasn't that far off.
That wasn't the problem.
Yeah, it wasn't. I just think that when there was traffic, he got squared up at the bad times. And for a second straight outing, he just throws so many pitches early.
The problem is he couldn't put guys away. That was a problem. How many foul balls did he give up in the game? It's funny. The thing that I told you I didn't like about Steele is bit Thompson here recently, and Steele deals with it too. He struck out a ton of guys lately, but he has a lot of long ABs. You got to be able to, when you get to 2 strikes, you got to be able to get outs. You got to get early outs. Then that's where strikeouts are valuable. You got to just have stuff. His stuff was just flat today. His location was off, but I think his location was off because he knew his stuff was flat. When you break down his bad outing at Yankee Stadium, that was tentative. He didn't want to come in the zone because he just got crushed in Baltimore the start before, and then Swarmer had the 6 home run game the day before. He was tentative. This bad outing was my stuff's flat. It's not good, and now I don't trust it. And guys like Aristides Aquino and these mediocre hitters for the Reds, if that, are fouling balls off and putting together long. I mean, he went 0-2 to 4-2 to Albert Almora. I mean, that's when you know you don't have good stuff. So, hopefully he'll have a better outing and bounce back from it. He's not a 1, he's not a 2, he's not a 3. He's a back-end guy, and back-end guys are going to have outings like this. I also think Ross wanted to use Espinoza and some other guys. I think in a different day, maybe he figures it out and gives you 5. It was an early trigger for him. But, yeah, he struggled today. It is what it is. It's not the end of the world. Who didn't struggle was Nico Hoerner.
He's really fun to watch, isn't he?
He is.
And he has good makeup as well, if people are into that sort of thing.
If I had to draw up a baseball player that I enjoy watching, it's the type of Nico Hoerner, because I don't care what his stats say, and his stats are good. He just does something to help you win every day.
Yes.
Defensively, he's the best base runner on the team by a country mile. It's not even close. I'm not saying the fastest. I'm saying the best, although he's probably the fastest too. Right. Maybe Morel's probably a little faster. Mm-hmm. He hits when it matters. He moves guys along. He plays good defense. He's got great body language. The only thing that you're waiting for with him that would take him to a national level would be to draw a couple more walks and to hit a couple more home runs. And those two, as I've talked about, those two are relatable. Right. So, you're going to draw more walks when you start hitting more homers because guys are going to be more careful to you. And it's not like, what does he have? I think he has 8 or 9. He's going to hit 10 this year. I mean, that's not a bad number. He gets himself to 17. He gets himself out to about 17, 18. He gets that on base in the 370, 380 range.
Wow.
And we're talking about a guy. I think he's a better player right now than Tim Anderson.
Really?
I said no.
You think he's eclipsed him?
If I'm having a draft between those two guys, Tim Anderson's a better hitter. He's more established, but Tim Anderson's not a good defensive player.
Right, and that's got to be the equation for shortstops. You can't, after the game, go, he went 1 for 4. Well, what do you do defensively? Yeah, I mean, Anderson definitely has that power element more, and he's a much more proven hitter than Hoerner. But when you look, I'm just talking about right now, it's a conversation. He's one of the best in the league. Yeah, I think he's one of the 5, 6 best shortstops in the game. I mean, again, he doesn't have the pedigree. It sounds dumb to say, he's better than Correa or Bogarts or Turner. Turner's having a phenomenal year, so that would be a dumb statement. But
he doesn't have the pedigree, but right now, when you look at the year he's having, you look at his WAR, you look at his defensive run saves, and you look at all the numbers, he's one of the 5 or 6 best shortstops in the game of baseball. That's not an over-exaggeration.
No, it stacks up. No, you're right. It's exciting to see. We're going to zoom in on some of the newer Cubs, McKinstry and Reyes, dig into their numbers a little bit. We're going to do that coming up next. First, we want to tell you about LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Did you know every week nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnMLB. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnMLB to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, Matt.
Yes.
Just pulled it up for the sake of it. Nico Hoerner has a 3.7 WAR. It's the 36th highest WAR in baseball. Looking at the shortstops ahead of him right now, just doing a quick scan to back up
guess?
my point. Well, I'm doing it quickly. Yeah, go ahead and guess.
I'm going to guess there's only 2 players ahead of him.
At shortstop?
Yeah.
Let me just make sure I don't miss anything here. So Lindor's ahead of him at 4.6.
Okay.
Andres Jimenez is ahead of him. Swanson is ahead of him. Bogarts, Trey Turner. Yeah, 5.
And this is WAR.
Yeah, he's 6th among
What is it good
shortstops
for?
in WAR. So that's exactly what we were saying. So he's having a really nice year. He's a really good player, and it's awesome.
That's really impressive. On Sunday, this foursome went 6 for 16. Wisdom, McKinstry, Gomes, and Morel.
Gomes hit a tank today.
He did. That was good to see. He's hitting really well in the second half. When I checked for an earlier episode last week, he was hitting over 400 in the second half. Reyes and McKinstry are both 6 for 17 since Tuesday. Reyes debuted with the team on Tuesday, and McKinstry finally broke out in that ball game. So that's good to see from both of those new guys in the blue and red. McKinstry, it seems like he's just planted at third base. You'd like to see him maybe move around a little bit.
He played second today, I think.
Yeah, for the first time, I think. And then, Franmil has more Cubs connections than I realized. He has a connection to the assistant hitting coach. He has a connection to Andy Green, the bench coach. So this was actually a pretty good landing spot for him. And he seems,
I like him,
in his first 4 games, which is a super. I mean, it's a mini sample size. But if there's any good signs from 4 games, it's good stuff, right?
Yeah, I think with McKinstry and Reyes, if you're looking at it, it's 2 different situations. I think McKinstry, to me, it's McKinstry v. Madrigal. I think only one of those guys.
And we have some questions about that later in the show. By the
way, okay, so I won't go too far. I think only one of those guys is going to really contribute to the 2023 team because they have very similar profiles. Although McKinstry strikes out a decent amount. I think Reyes is a guy that could be a guy on this team, kind of like Wisdom is this year, where it's like, okay, Wisdom had that great year, and obviously, Reyes isn't having the year Wisdom had last year, but if Reyes could give us just we just need more. We need more home runs.
100%.
That home run he hit yesterday was just a 2-run shot that flipped the momentum of the game, and flipped his bat to right field. It was easy.
It was great.
And he's a unique hitter because he's a home run hitter that hits the ball on the ground a lot. There's something there with him. And, obviously Suzuki's going to get right for most of the part. We have a hole in center field. Does Suzuki start playing center? Is it Morel, whatever, Haps and left? But the DH spot's open. I mean, I don't think Reyes is an everyday guy for this team, but I think he's a guy that is intriguing at Wrigley Field. You need ballparks matter too. I mean,
definitely.
Yeah, he's an intriguing guy. We need more pop on this team. I like Hoerner in clutch spots. If Madrigal's right, I like him in big spots. I still think Suzuki's going to come around and be a good hitter in big spots, like Sutcliffe was saying today.
I hope so.
Like Seiko was saying today, hey, I'm worried a lot. There's a lot I'm worried about in this team. Suzuki's not one of them. You got to hope that he's all right. And there's some offensive intriguing spots. When I look at the 2023 team, I'm not at the point yet where I'm in love with Stroman, Thompson, Steele, etc. I still think we need to go out in free agency and get a stud to cap that rotation. Offensively, I feel like when they add one of these shortstops, things are going to break their way and they're going to have a lot of flexibility. But a lot of flexibility means a lot of responsibility for David Ross to use them correctly. So TBD on that.
A couple news and notes here, Sam. Cubs top prospect Brennen Davis. This is according to Tommy Birch of the Des Moines Register. Brennen Davis expected to get some game action this week in the Arizona Complex League. Davis has not played since May after undergoing back surgery. So that's good to see. There's still
phenomenal news. Phenomenal
the ACL,
news.
There's still 40, 50 games left too.
Phenomenal news considering I think we had all drawn up that he's going to be out for the year.
I'm really surprised, pleasantly surprised.
Get him some ABs, have him feeling good going in the offseason, get off to a really nice start next year in Iowa, and we'll see you in mid-May.
Yeah. There you go. That's a good plan.
We'll see in mid-May when we're 3 games up on St. Louis.
And then the probables in the nation's capital Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Sam. It's going to be in this order: Stroman against Gray, Steele against Corbin, and Smiley against Abbott.
Patrick Corbin having one of the worst individual seasons we've seen in a while from a starter. Stroman owes the Nationals. He when you were at the ball game, that was not an impressive performance. Please do not give up 2 more home runs to Keibert Ruiz, although it would help my fantasy team. But I have a bye this week because I got the number 1 overall seed. So don't care how that goes. Let's have Stroman dominate. Who's pitching the third ball game?
That's going to be Drew Smiley against some dude named Abbott.
I think Cody Abbott. Was that it? Is it Cody Abbott? Might be a former Cub, actually.
Oh, it might be. I could look into it really quick.
Yeah, look into it. I'll filibuster for you because I would really like to sweep the Nats in the nation's capital.
It'd be nice to get the brooms out.
And then what would be nice?
And that's going to be ex-Cub Corey Abbott.
Oh, Corey Abbott. Corey Abbott. Sorry, my fault on that. I was close. I said Cody. I said ex-Cub. 2 out of 3, 66. That's a flat D. Then after that, we have a stretch where we play a lot of Brewers, a lot of Cardinals, and I want to spoil their seasons.
Oh, it'd be great to play spoiler, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I just don't know who I want to play spoiler for because I can't stand either of them.
I'm leaning towards if I had to decide now, it'd probably lean towards the Brewers.
You want to see the Brewers win, or you want to make sure they don't win?
I think I want to make sure they don't win. They've been stuck in my craw a little more.
I fully agree with that. Plus,
even though the Cardinals are historically the largest Cubs rival.
The Cardinals are also a better watch. I don't like watching the Brewers. It's boring.
Oh, that's great. Okay, we have a lot of great notes and then some questions coming up next. First, how about Bet Online? BetOnline.net is your number 1 source for all your betting needs and sports info. Find all of the latest sports developments, league reviews, and news, including all things baseball. Head to betonline.net or download the app to learn more about the trends in action. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Matthew, before you read these questions, I do want to make one point I find interesting. Speaking of the Brewers and Cardinals, neither of these teams are powerhouses, especially now that the Cardinals didn't get Soto. It's going to be it's not going to take much to be right there with these teams.
Oh, you better believe it, player.
They're not that good. They're not that good.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No. They're not world beaters.
No, there's no world.
I mean, Sam, when you keep talking about, and when I speak to fans in the community and at work, especially since we started taking over the show,
when we became G level celebs.
Yeah, Z level. It's always okay if we get a shortstop, if they get a starting pitcher, and that's exactly what you've said the whole last week.
And manage better.
Right. And then obviously around the margins and internal developments and promotions and things like that, maybe a trade or two.
Yeah.
That we don't even see coming.
And if you make the first or third out at third base, you're fined $10,000.
Wow, that's harsh.
Yeah, well, I'm tired of it.
Okay. Oh, that would definitely discourage people from doing that.
And
So
if you lead off a guy who at best is a AAA bat for 80 games, okay, you get the point.
So we have some intel on who was the 1,000th subscriber last week on our YouTube channel. We have this intel because this person. Are you a little bit tired?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay,
I
maybe
usually
drink
don't.
some water or
I
something.
usually don't go out ever. But my buddy
Uh-huh.
was in town. My buddy was in town this
It's good that
weekend,
you left your home.
and I went out, and I was just my body's not used to it. I need to get some Z's.
So this is good intel because this person sent a video of them clicking subscribe. It went from 999 to 1,000. Yeah. Yeah. So this is going to be, Sam, this is going to be Danielle from Missouri, was the 1,000th subscriber. She was referred to our channel by Isaiah, who's tuned in and commented before. He runs the Northside 9 on Twitter. Danielle says Isaiah told me to make sure I subscribe for the 1,000, and that's exactly what happened. So thanks, Danielle from Mizzou.
And thanks, Isaiah.
That's right. That's right. Good assist there. And there's a couple similar questions here about Madrigal, Sam. So I'm going to read both, and then we can respond as such. Okay. Madrigal is, since returning from the IL, by the way, he's 9 for 23. That's a 391 clip.
With an on base of he's walked at least 3 times.
Yeah, he's walked 4 times.
Yeah.
Okay. This is from Jackson.
From?
It doesn't say where he's from.
Okay.
Sam, as I'm watching the game right now, I keep thinking about how a week ago you were bashing Madrigal and saying that he'll have to compete for a spot next year. And I immediately disagreed with you. Are you starting to change your mind as he is starting to hit like he used to? Thanks, guys. Love the pod. That's from Jackson. Now, do you want to address that or go to the next one?
No. Read.
Okay. And then this is going to be from Brandon in Peoria. He says, hey, guys, my dad and I are big fans. We have kept debating about how our lineup is going to look next year, especially with us possibly signing a shortstop in the offseason. We obviously moved Nico to second, but then what do we do with Madrigal? Right. Then what position do we think Morel is going to play permanently? Thought these would be good questions for the podcast. Thanks, guys. That's Brandon in Peoria.
Right. So we'll go to Jackson first. Yeah, I think Jackson, you're probably right. This has been but this week, like, even though it's been a week, this is a week that not a lot of people saw coming. It's a big jump. Like, you're talking about a guy that literally didn't. I think he drew 2 walks before he got injured. He's drawn 4 since. Like, his approach has totally changed. I do still think he's competing for a spot, though. I do. I
starting spot or a roster spot?
Well, I don't, like I said, I don't think there's room for him and McKinstry. So when they went out and got McKinstry, that told me, hey, there's not a guarantee Madrigal is going to make this opening day roster next year, because they are going to, that's all connected, because they are going to get a shortstop. So McKinstry is somebody that you could flex and play at third base. So let's just hypothetically say they go out and get Carlos Correa. Okay. Correa is going to be at short. Hoerner is going to be at second. In a pinch, you'd rather have McKinstry play third than Madrigal. Now, I think Madrigal is going to be on the team. I think he's a better player than McKinstry. He's a better hitter. You know, he does more things. Okay. But I don't think it's like a foregone conclusion. I think and I think Madrigal knows it. I think he's picked up his game and he's responded to it. And it's been really good to see. I didn't see a 391 on base of like 500 week coming from him. If it continues, and obviously you're not going to hit like that every week, but if he finishes the year strong and hits the way he's supposed to, then yeah, he'll be on the team next year. So overall, I would probably say, initially disagreeing with me on that was probably the correct angle. But I mean, Nick Madrigal, man, I know it was 31 games before he got hurt. It was just really tough. I mean, it was like when I hit in like 12-inch softball and everyone played in on me and I couldn't hit it over their head. As far as the shortstop thing, so I think it's really important to don't worry, guys, about positions. If you have too many shortstops can play anywhere. Okay. Like, in a pinch, Nico Hoerner could play third base. Like, it's like these guys, too many shortstops is a really good problem to have. I don't know what they do. My guess would be if they go out, it depends which shortstop. If they get a Bogarts, that would be a little bit interesting because Nico Hoerner is just having a better defensive season than him. But is he the type of guy that's going to be like, yo, I'm playing shortstop. That's what I do. Hoerner's not going to care.
It sounds like he may move to third base, though.
Yeah, so if they go get Bogarts, maybe they move him to third. Hoerner plays short, Madrigal plays second. Now, Brandon was the name of the second question,
Yes.
yeah? What Brandon's asking is, okay, well, let's say they go get Correa and he gets short and Hoerner gets second. What do they do with Madrigal? Morel's natural position, he doesn't have one, which is kind of a good thing and a bad thing. Maybe they teach somebody to play third base, or you use Madrigal where he's best, coming late off the bench when you need a base hit or you need contact or something like that. And you spell you spell Hoerner, you spell those guys. Having depth or too many middle infielders is usually a problem that's going to resolve itself. It's like having too many starting pitchers. Somebody's going to get hurt. I mean, you're also talking about, when you look at it in a short-term view, let's say you get Correa. Correa has a big injury history. Nico Hoerner has a big injury history. There's going to be plenty of time for Madrigal and those guys to play. They need rest. So to answer the question, I'd say, I don't think Madrigal's playing third. He doesn't have the arm for that. No. But they're going to figure out a place to play him. There's a DH. I would say if they go get a shortstop and Madrigal, and that shortstop's playing short and Hoerner's playing second, but Madrigal's doing his thing, he's still going to play close to over 100 games. Yeah, he's still going to play.
And who's to say that Morel has to be in one spot for 150 games next year?
Right, exactly. Morel
could play center and
third. Yeah, get better at center. And I think that was why they like McKinstry, is he's more of a third baseman than Madrigal. But if Madrigal continues to hit like this, it's going to outweigh that. So we'll see. You got to have a lot of depth. My issue is I think they're going to have a ton of depth. I hope Ross uses it correctly.
Yeah, I know that's a concern of yours. Be sure to hit the subscribe button for Locked On Cubs on YouTube and smash the like button on all your favorite Locked On Cubs content. We're also on Apple, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcasts. Remember, you can drop us a text, just like Danielle, Brandon, and Jackson did, 312-834-4634. We're going to read more of those and possibly even hear one of those for the Tuesday and or Wednesday episodes, as we have some more in our inbox to get to. Thanks for making Locked On Cubs your first listen every day. Going to be a fun week here on the show. He's Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. This is Locked On Cubs.